Welcome back to the Path to Better A1C podcast. I am your host, Jenny Pena, National Board Certified Health and Wellness Coach, Diabetes Prevention Program Lifestyle Coach, founder, CEO at GMP Coaching, creator of the A1C Reset Protocol, my personal signature health coaching program that I created 12 weeks long that has helped many balance their blood sugar, lower their A1C, prevent diabetes, and even lose a few pounds. And talk about weight loss. Last episode, the previous episode, number 26, was talking about insulin resistance and the role that it has in weight loss. Now, if you have not listened to it, I would recommend that you go listen to that one. But today, we are talking about another element that is very important if you're trying to lose weight. Today's topic is one of the most misunderstood pieces of the weight loss puzzle. There has been a lot of contradictions and a lot of things going back and forth, but it's also the most powerful one, especially if you have insulin resistance, prediabetes, PCOS, all of these things. And it's protein. You might think of protein as just a nutrient for bodybuilders, for gym goers, but the truth is, if you want to lose weight, if you want to reverse insulin resistance, or even just feel full and focused and manage cravings throughout the day, protein is the answer. And I actually feel that most of my clients, when they share this note that I hope you find funny, when they share that with me, I feel very much accomplished. And it's when they say that everywhere they go to eat, they can hear my voice in their head every time they're eating, asking themselves, where is the protein in this plate? Because I tell them and I teach them not about restriction, not about the things that they shouldn't have, but how important having protein in all of their meals is, not just for weight loss, but also for cravings and blood sugar regulation. So when they tell me that they can hear themselves asking that question, that they can practically hear my voice, I feel like my job is done. And I am such a proud health coach when they tell me that. Now, I'm going to go back to my notes. Let's break down why this matters, right? Why protein matters, how much do you really need, how to get more without overcomplicating your meals, right? Like I know it can be tough. So many theories and so many things out there. And I'm going to clarify, I do not mean to go on a keto diet. Please do not go on a keto diet. That's another episode that is coming. Now, why protein is a game changer for weight loss? Let's get straight to it. Protein is not just about muscle. It's about metabolism, it's about hormone regulation and appetite. That's why it's so important. So here's what protein does that makes it so helpful for weight loss. First is you're going to feel fuller for longer. What does that mean? It means that you're going to have fewer cravings. It means that you're going to have less snacking and you're going to have more control of your portions. That's why when I am coaching clients, they start asking about, but can I eat bread? Is it okay if I eat pasta? Is it okay? And I practically don't even mention that because the moment that you start incorporating more protein, you're going to feel better, you're going to sleep better, you're not going to have as much cravings. So, and if you start eating that first, you're not going to have as much room or appetite for those carbs. Carbs are not necessarily bad. We want you to get complex carbs that are high in fiber, obviously. But what I'm saying is that when you shift your focus from the things that you cannot eat towards the things that you should incorporate in your plate, it's a mind change and it becomes so much freeing and sustainable. So increase how you are feeling fuller for longer. The second element is that it supports lean muscle mass. right? That's why you hear a lot of the, oh, it's for bodybuilders. No, it's not just for bodybuilders. Your muscle burns calories even when it's resting. So that's why people with more muscle often lose weight more efficiently. Why? Because, if they're not eating enough protein, especially during weight loss, what happens is like your body breaks down muscle for fuel. And that's not what you want. So again, this is why people with more muscle, they are able to lose weight more efficiently. Their metabolism is speed up. They need more calories to maintain that as well. But if you're not eating enough protein, guess what the body's going to do? They're going to start breaking down. That's why I joke with all my clients. If I'm going to pick my name, if it's Jenny, I'll be like, oh, you don't want to be flabby, Jenny. You want to be strong, Jenny. That's something that I say often. Now, when it comes to protein, the third element that is super important is it stabilizes your blood sugar. So protein slows down how quickly sugar enters your bloodstream. It helps prevent spikes and those energy crashes and cravings that happen. So you see how important this is? And if you're insulin resistant, if you're trying to balance your A1C, protein is your best friend. So typically the very first thing that I tell all of my clients is let's see how much protein you're getting and let's start incorporating protein at all meals. And we start slow until we get to that end goal. Now, what happens when you don't get enough protein? Well, unfortunately, again, many of the clients that I work, they unintentionally eat very little protein. They don't eat enough. And that's why again, at the very beginning, I incorporate that. We talk about that. I somewhat assess and I tell them you need to eat enough protein throughout your meals. So, and this is what I often see. I'll give you an example. And maybe I was part of that example years ago. Starting the day with toast, fruit, and coffee. There is no protein there. Mind you, fruit is amazing. Fruit is great. It's a great source of carbs that is complex and is natural source. It is great. Toast, there is nothing wrong with toast. Even coffee, if you don't abuse there is nothing wrong with coffee. However, there is no protein there. You know what's going to happen with somebody that eats like that? By 10:30, they're going to be at the lunchroom looking for that stale donut or for another cup of coffee. Because carb is great for energy, but it wears out pretty quickly. But then you think you're doing an amazing thing by, I'm going to have a salad for lunch and I'm going to sprinkle some chicken on it. So there's not enough protein there either. And if the salad doesn't have a lot of hearty vegetables, there's not even that much fiber in there. Not putting down the salad, but it needs to be balanced. And if it doesn't have any of the good fats, by 2 o'clock, you're going to be at the local coffee place getting your third or fourth cup of coffee. And then when you go home, you may get a dinner at home. Dinner is actually one of the meals that most people get enough protein. Most, not everybody, but most do. But some people, because they want to lose weight, what do? I'm just going to skip dinner altogether. So you see how the problem? This just leads to constant hunger. That person is probably going to wake up at 11 o'clock with the right desire of looking for food because there is no protein in that diet. And the body knows it. So you're going to wake up, constant hunger, blood sugar holocausters, muscle loss, slower metabolism. All these things are going to happen if this is your story. So do you understand that it's not necessarily about cutting the carbs or eliminating meals or going on intermittent fasting? I know I really do not like intermittent fasting. Um, It's about balancing your plate. So if there's one takeaway that I have for you today, regardless if you're trying to lose weight or not, but if you're trying to lose weight, you surely need to focus on this. Incorporate protein at every meal. Now I'm going to talk about how much do you actually need, which is another question that everybody asks. If you want to get all academic and get into the numbers, the general recommendation for healthy adults is about 0.8 grams per kilo of your body weight. But honestly, that is the minimum to prevent deficiency. This is not about you having thriving energy. Now, for fat loss and muscle maintenance, the typical recommendation is 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilo. Now, you must be like, Jenny, what in the world is this? Okay, I'll make it easy for you. For women, you should eat per meal 20 to 30 grams of protein. And again, this is like baseline. If you do this calculation, you'll probably see most of us need over 100 grams. So, but at least start with 20. Start being consistent with that. Then start discovering ways and sources of adding protein and just add them. If you're a gentleman or if you're super active, you're going to need more. You're going to need 30 to 40 grams per meal. And trust me, maybe for dinner, most people have one meal that they tend to have enough protein in it, but most of the other meals, they're not protein heavy. They're typically carb heavy. So of course, this definitely varies by goals. If you need a specific plan, go to a dietitian. A dietitian is the right person to design a plan for you, or maybe an endocrinologist. If you are a diabetic, work with your team. But overall, as a general guideline, these are the guidelines. Now, let's talk about sources, because that's another thing that I speak to my clients a lot, especially when they come for weight loss. Animal proteins, eggs, chicken, turkey, beef, salmon, tuna, shrimp. Salmon is great because it also contains healthy fats for inflammation. Eggs are great. Eat them full. You don't need to separate the yolks from the whites like years ago. This whole thing about cholesterol. It has been proven that, sorry, they were wrong, but you can eat them whole. And tuna has a lot of protein. One can of tuna, even if not fresh, even if it's just a can, one can has almost 30 grams of protein. Just so that you know. When it comes to dairy products, Greek yogurt is amazing. Kefir is amazing. Cottage cheese is amazing. These are really good sources of protein. If you want to go on a plant base, beans are great. Now, the ones that have the most protein are lentils, black beans, kidney beans. Those are the ones that are the highest. But overall, most of these beans are amazing. Tempeh, tofu, quinoa. While it has carbs and it is a grain, it has protein. And then you have the alternative that there's a lot of controversy about. Do you advocate for it? Are you for it? Are you not? And those are protein powders. Now, I will say, and I'm going to link the protein powders that I prefer, that I like, that I personally use. Protein powders can be great for supplementation, for those days that you're in a pickle and you need to run out the door. Why? Because if you just get a smoothie, and mind you, I will not even promote a smoothie in a way that most people do that just put fruit in it. I actually replicate a balanced plate in that smoothie to make it a complete meal. So, while protein powders Yes, they're powders. It's not in natural form. If you get protein powder that is clean, that is lean, that it doesn't have a lot of things added to it, it may be a great alternative for those moments that you're short on time and need to eat something. So, my suggestion, start your day with protein. If there's one thing that you can start with breakfast. Again, dinner is the one that most people do well with protein. Breakfast is the typical meal that most people either skip or just don't have enough protein. It tends to be carb heavy and it's not good for your weight loss, not good for your blood sugar. So, again, many studies out there show that getting 20 to 30 grams of protein at breakfast will reduce cravings all day long. So, again, one takeaway, just eat protein in breakfast. If that's the only thing that you can do, start there. And again, if you're busy, there's simple ways of adding that. Add a scoop of protein powder to your oatmeal or your smoothies. Swap your toast and add some eggs into it. Make a Greek yogurt parfait. That's actually my favorite breakfast. That's what I eat almost every day. If you're having salads, add enough chicken, add some beans, add some tofu. For snacks, keep hard boiled eggs. Have tuna salad at hand. Those are great snacks. Choose high protein versions of pasta and wraps, but please read the labels. There's a lot of junk sometimes that some of these products add. Read the labels, make sure you read them. Don't follow the advertisement because sometimes it can be misleading. And again, if you need some ideas on what your family can eat, don't forget, I have this brand new free guide, 5 balanced, blood sugar friendly dinner recipes that include protein, that include fiber, and include flavor. And I call them Dinner Solved. So you can grab it for free, and I will have the link in the show notes. So let's recap. Protein isn't just a fitness trend. It's an actual key player for weight loss, insulin regulation, and appetite control. And sadly, most people are not getting enough, especially in the morning. So if you have one takeaway for this episode, start eating protein for breakfast, please. Aim for 20 to 30 grams per meal and prioritize whole food sources. But again, don't feel bad if you need to incorporate some protein powder because protein helps you stay full, helps you keep your muscle, helps stabilize your blood sugar. These are 3 essentials, especially if you're managing prediabetes, managing diabetes, or trying to lose weight. And remember, small changes go a long way. So start by adding protein one meal at a time. That's the best approach. That's what I do with my clients. And again, there is the Dinner Solved guide. The link is in the show notes. And if you need more personalized guidance, if you have a question, please send me a message. My email is hello@jennypena.com. You can find me also on Instagram at Coach Jen P. And you've got this. You've got this. There's lots of resources out there, and I am here to help. So please, if anybody has any questions, if there's anything that I can do to help you and guide you, I am here. Now, next week, I am super excited because I'm going to talk about another thing that surely not many people talk about in terms of weight loss, and that's fiber. It's a very underrated nutrient, and sadly, the average American intake of fiber is about 10 grams, and we do need to eat a bit more than that. So stay tuned. I will see you next week for another episode that is going to help you have practical strategies that are science backed, that are going to help you balance your blood sugar, lose weight, lower your A1C, prevent diabetes, and just feel better overall. Have an amazing rest of your week. Bye.